Uh-oh, we live. We live.
We live, we live, we live. Okay.
Click on comments over here. Hello. Look at all the people in the room. Good morning, y'all. Casey, can I roll with it? Or you want to do some introduction or something?
I'm gonna do an introduction because
Okay.
you're the first presenter. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a big uh ask that I'm providing for you. There we go. We are live. It's 10:15 on the dot. We are here. We're good. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Now, I want to say this. I asked Erica to be the first presenter because I know that Erica will knock it out the park and she will set the tone for the entire weekend. I saw that little tweet that she put online, but that's okay. I'm gonna ignore and keep on going. First and foremost, welcoming. I don't want to get into a big long discussion because I don't want to take away from her session. So I want to welcome Erica Long. She's a certified librarian. She's from the great state of Tennessee. She is now a library consultant. She will talk to you a little bit more about that. And on that note, I'm going to disappear and welcome Erica Long.
Well, hey y'all. Thank you, Casey, for that amazing introduction. We just gonna roll with it and see what happens, y'all. I am setting my timer up here so I can make sure we are keeping up with the time because I set the tone for the rest of the day. So let's do it. So inspiring your students, or I should have said learners, because we're school librarians and we talk about learners, but inspiring your students or learners, however you refer to them, to be reading influencers. So let's dive in. Be sure to use the hashtag that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. If you cannot see me very well, I am so sorry. I'm in a hotel and I thought the lighting would be better, but I'm playing auntie duty this week in this volleyball tournament. All right, so let's get started. Who am I? Did that? It didn't change for y'all, did it? Okay, wait.
Didn't try again.
There we go. Okay. So, who am I? I'm Erica Long. As Casey said, here is where you can find me and connect with me on Twitter. At the end, it should say my email address if you are interested in contacting me for any type of work. As Casey mentioned, I have shifted from the school library building, but am very much still a part of school library world. I still hold some leadership roles in ALA as well as AASL. I'm really excited about that continued work that I get to do. I've been president of our Tennessee Library Association. I've held some roles in our Tennessee Association of School Librarians as well. I like to consider myself a mentor because I'm always open to connecting with people and sharing what I have learned, but also learning from others because let me tell you, this room is full right now, but there are a ton of people in here that I have learned from throughout the years and I love to be able to pay that forward. So, keeping it moving, let's keep in mind the community agreement, right? Take borrowed this from Tiffany Jewell. I saw this a couple of years ago from her when she did a session. Take care of yourself, take care of others, take care of this environment. But most of all, please remember the code of conduct that KC worked really hard to create to protect all of us in this space. We know it's a crazy time right now, so let's just be real and respect the community that she has created for us today. With that said, I'm going to kick it off with this. Would you rather keep track of a reading log or tell people about what you're reading? Right. Throw it in the chat. I can't really see it, but we're going to keep it rolling anyway. I got a lot of things covered over here. This is why I need two screens. So, with so many schools having broader access to technology right now, ditching the paper reading log and incorporating devices into literacy can definitely lead to a shift in student engagement. After all, social media is really where teens live primarily. And if you are worried because you are an elementary provider, don't worry about that. I'm going to cover you a little bit later on. So let's get to it. Um, Pew Research Center reported this week that TikTok has established itself as one of the top online platform for teens 13 to 17. Some about 67% of teens say that they have used or say that they use TikTok, with 16% of them saying they use it almost constantly. And I believe it because in my school library with high schoolers, they were consistently filming TikToks. It was in the library, it was in the hallway, it was in the bathroom. I couldn't go anywhere around that building without them dancing and doing a bop. YouTube tops the 2022 teen online landscape among the platforms covered in the center's survey, which also included like Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, the works, right? You'll see my reference later on in the presentation, so you can go back and find that if you are interested in that study. So if our teens, if our learners are going to be using these platforms during our classes anyway, because let's be real, they do, why not make it educational? Don't fight with them, bring them to bring you and the work to where they are. So if I like to think about bringing readers into the influencer role, because that's what they're trying to be, right? Because they see so many other people do it. How do we go about doing that? So, if they were to turn a book into a film or a series, what would a trailer look like for them? This is one opportunity for you to have them to work together, right? They can work collaboratively on a project. If they've read the same book, maybe you have lit circles. Use that opportunity to have that group create a trailer. Want to make it a longer unit? If you don't have more than one day to work on this assignment with them or this project with them, then start with creating a storyboard, right? It takes a lot to kind of put all of this stuff into place. Let's be real. Content creators are not full-time content creators just because they don't want to do something else. It is a legit full-time job. So input or sort of show your students how that works, right? How it takes creativity, it takes strategy, thoughts, critical thinking, all of that to be able to do this. Another example is doing a 60-second book talk, right? So, oh, there we go. All right. So if you are on TikTok, use TikTok, and if they're on TikTok, use TikTok as a way for them to give that book talk. You are not doing anything out of the norm, right? That same those same parameters that you create for them in the classroom, or that their ELA teacher or social studies teacher creates in the classroom, they still keep those, right? You're going to give me the title. You're going to show me the book cover. You're going to tell me who it would be great for, who might be interested in reading this book. What was your favorite thing? What was your favorite quote? All of those things can still be wrapped up into a 60-second book talk. The third one I want to talk about is writing a review. You can use Instagram and be creative about the posts that you make, right? Have them to think outside of the box. Don't just post the book cover up there, right? Be creative with it. I remember one of my favorite posts that I did was me reading on the subway. It legit was me reading on the subway, going from DC to Alexandria, Virginia, and my sister just so happened to catch a photo of it. And so I can use that as a creative way to kind of reach out to the folks who are my audience, right? So have your learners think creatively about the type of post that they put, and then use the caption as their space to write that review. Another one is creating a book snap. This is really simple, something that instead of maybe being a big project or a big grade for maybe that class, they can just do something weekly, right? What are you reading today? In the parts that you're reading today, use Snapchat. Put some different stickers on there, or highlight it, or use the markup to mark up what really stood out to you. Some quotes. Like, I see people doing this to me on Snapchat all the time because they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is where I'm at in the story," right? So that's that's another way to be really quick about it instead of something that's a more lengthy process. And to add to that, using Instagram story or highlights, one of the things that I have seen folks do is have a teacher page or a classroom page for their classes. So if that's something that your teachers do, have them to create a hashtag, right? So maybe that teacher only has one Instagram page or one TikTok page, but if they have a hashtag, then all of the students across their different class periods are able to use that hashtag and keep building on it throughout time, throughout the course of that school year or semester, or however that that class breaks up. So this for me, I think, is a really authentic way for students or readers to share. But I want to make sure that you keep in mind and you're sharing with them, because we're all about creating digital citizens, right? Making sure that if there's not an extremely favorable post, because right, they're not going to love every single thing that they read. We all fall into that category at some point, but making sure that they're kind and not tagging writers in reviews that are not favorable. Anything that they're posting anyway should be appropriate and shouldn't be it should really model, it should really mimic the code of conduct that we have here today. But in the case that they slide into that role, make sure that they don't tag those authors, because this is their work, this is their livelihood, it's their passions, it's their craft. And who are our students or any other person for that matter to take away from that or diminish it by being rude online? So, if you work with folks who are elementary, or let's be honest, folks who are under 13, here are some other options. And I say under 13 because, yes, we still, again, with creating digital citizens, need to make sure that we are cognizant of the fact that a lot of these platforms say, and actually all of these platforms, you have to be 13 to sign up, right? Even though they may be using them on their own. So here are some options. A lot of school districts right now have already approved Flipgrid, and probably most of you have used it at some point or another. So it's a great option for our younger learners. They may not have, they may be on these social media apps at home. But that's neither here nor there. This app still has some similar features to the ones that they are used to, or to the ones that I just mentioned earlier. So, what is even more cool about that is the students can go in and comment on each other's posts, right? So it still keeps that same type of feel to it. And by using this one for our elementary kids, we're definitely modeling good digital citizenship practices by having them to use a platform that they are allowed to use instead of one that they are not legally allowed to use. Clips app, if you have not heard of it, is an iPad app. Well, it's an Apple app and it's on iPads, it's on iOS devices. I love it because, again, it is similar to Flipgrid in that you can create the content. And if you are a district that uses iPad, you should see the Clips app on there. So, what I love about it, same features. You can still create the stickers and posters and make it fun and engaging. All of that is available for you. And what I'd love to share is that, if you are in a place where your students are using this technology in the classroom, and they may be one to one, create a gallery walk for your classes. So once they're done with it, have those iPads set up at their tables, and then have your students to go around as they would any other type of gallery walk. You can also have them to upload it to your learning management system, whichever one you use. I know there's so many different ones out there at this point. And then lastly, I know there are lots of folks who have had students create reviews and put those in the OPAC so that their peers in the building can see what they thought about the books. If you have a library website, or maybe you have a school YouTube channel, if those are private and not open to the public, I would encourage you to use those as a way for them to post their reviews, their book reviews that are videos, or maybe their trailers that they made, so that others around the school have access to those, and can you can increase that readership of those particular books that students are excited about. Again, be sure that it is private. All right, so here is a reference for the article from earlier. If you want to take a screen grab, I can't remember if Casey is going to be using is going to be sharing our slides with you, but here it is. If you want to screen grab that. And then here is the time where you do the work. Okay, so think about a book that's your go-to book for the beginning of the year, and then choose a social media platform. Y'all probably have already been using the Boss Librarian PD tag. If you haven't, that means I haven't done a good job today. So I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed back here behind the scenes. But once you decide on a social media platform that you want to use, go ahead and create a post about the book, right? Maybe you don't have the book right next to you at this point. Be creative, figure it out. And then if you are one of those folks who finish early, we're going to make sure that you have something else to do. So then you can choose a content standard and pair it with a book, and then create a post for that. And maybe you can use that in your library, or maybe you can share that with a teacher as a way to get them on your team to be a collaborator for this school year. Especially if you are a first year librarian out there, you need something to walk away with. One of the questions that they always ask is, how do I get teachers to work with me? Okay, come on, take this opportunity, create this content right now. Work on a couple others as you look at some standards for next week, and then connect with those teachers and say, hey, I have this really cool idea. What do you think about doing this? All right, we are at 15 minutes. So I am going to give you 2 minutes, if that's enough time, to create a post. And let's see what shows up on the hashtag. Okay, so a question: how do we encourage students to do this? So if you're looking to do it outside of a class, like you just have not regular, if you just have readers and you're just using this as an opportunity for them to engage in the library itself, go ahead and use prizes if you can afford them. I definitely could not afford prizes, and I have friends in the library who do prizes every month. But that's a great way, right? So how are they even taking it past just using this for folks who are doing it for independent reading? If you have students who are excited about just what the library has to offer, right, have them to post about the library itself. A lot of you have library social media pages. Have them tag you if they are using social media. Have them tag the library, and then maybe that can be your contest. It could be a book that's given away. A lot of folks have books because they are purchasing them with their scholastic dollars after a book fair. If you can use those, that's a great way to do it. If other folks in your community are giving away books, that's a great way to do it as well. And yes, Padlet's a great idea too. Seeing lots of comments in here. I'm going to scroll through while y'all use the last 30 seconds of your 2 minutes. And if you have the chance, go ahead and think about a content standard that you can pair it with. So, great question over here about creating a TikTok type slide for younger folks. One of the things that I did when I was in a middle school library, and the students Absolutely loved it. At the time, we weren't even one to one with the district, and we had very few devices in the building. I created a template for, and this wasn't TikTok. It was I was doing a lesson, a music lesson, and I wanted them to create a soundtrack. So I just created old school. They don't know anything about it, but I created this template, a paper template, and of the old school like liner notes. So they had like the cover of the CD. And then they had to create the liner notes for the soundtrack. So that's another way that you could do it, right? Create that template on your own and then share it out with your students, whether you create a paper one or a digital version for them to edit. You could do both just for accessibility reasons. So keeping that in mind. I would also say TikTok slides, if you are using like Google Classroom or something like that, that could also be an option in terms of video. I hope I've gotten the questions because I'm um, at the end. And oh, it didn't work. Oh, my video won't work for y'all. Hmm. Okay. Well, this is a oh, that's no fun. Well, I did a video when I was getting ready to. I was actually pubbing an author event that I was hosting, and so this is really just a time lapse. But it ends with me at the end with the book, "My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich" by Ibby's Boy, and I was eating an ice cream sandwich. So there you go. Thinking creatively about that. A gallery walk is, a lot of people use it when they have posters, or maybe the students have printed out their assignments, and they put it up around the classroom on the walls. And sometimes we do this in PDs. I know I've done it in PDs before, but it's where they've created some type of product, and it's up on the wall. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a product. Sometimes it's just the students getting together working in class, right? In groups, and then once they are done, then everybody walks around to look at the other folks' thoughts or ideas, or responses to whatever those prompts were. So a gallery walk is simply like, once if you've created the content, and I gave this as an example for younger folks who maybe not have access to actual social media, so they're using something like Flipgrid. If they did that in the class, I mean, so if they did a video or something of the like in the classroom, then your students could walk around to the different desks or tables to actually view those products or whatever they created. Melissa, oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said your name out loud, but also you just like to stroke my ego. um, a lot of these can be yes, you can use computer screens for the gallery walk, which was, yeah, that's what I was talking about. A lot of these can be shifted to shifted to print technology. I mean, print, not technology, can be shifted to print. Um, uh, I would say you could probably easily Google all of those things because I know you can, but I'm going to be cautious about saying that because I know that that will lead people to teachers pay teachers, and I have my own feelings about that. So be creative and create your own content, or this um this community that's been built, right, to lean on. There are so many folks that are amazing in this group that I'm sure once you start searching that hashtag later on, you'll see where folks are like, I did this, or this is how I did this, all of that stuff.
You see, this is why I had you go first because I was so busy with the comments that I forgot to give you your 5-minute
Oh, girl, I got a timer
wrap
over here.
up.
I'm good.
Yeah, so we're gonna, if you could wrap up in about a minute, so we
No.
could give everybody about 5 minutes to head to the next session. So go ahead.
Okay. Somebody talked about first day jitters. Oh, you're looking for alternatives. Okay. I have never read that book. I know my sister used that book. She uses it every year. But I did see that Novel Effect has some resources to pair with it. Some activities, not necessarily their resources for us, but they have some activities that you could pair with it that seem pretty cool. All right, I'm stepping down. I'll answer if you tag me on a post or a question or something that I didn't get answered in here. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll go back and try to look at them online. But if you have immediate questions, feel free to tag me on social media. Thanks, y'all.
There is so much love in the chat. If everyone could please just give the wonderful Erica Long some love in the chat. I'm going to try and pop them in so she can see all these wonderful comments. It's
Y'all are
always hard
great.
being the
Thank
first
you.
person.
Whatever. All right, let's go because it's time. It's time.
Yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Give her some love in the chat. We are going to head over to
Folks
our
can get a
next
5 minute
session.
break.
Yeah, they get 5 minutes to move to the next session. So let's just finish up showing all these great comments that are coming in.
Thank you.
Y'all sweet. Okay, the next session is going to begin at 10:45. And I'm talking about Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Okay, so I don't want to confuse y'all. Eastern Standard Time. So y'all have about 5 minutes. I'm going to end this broadcast and we're going to head into the next one. See you soon. And thank you very much, Erica.
Thank you, Casey.
Whew. We did it. Woo!
Hey, this is like the best.
Yeah, and I've been multitasking. That's why I messed up and didn't see her last session, you know. So okay,
All
going into
right.
the next one. So
See
boom,
ya.
here we go.